The panel is called Experiences on Publisher Artist Songwriting Collaboration. And so, welcome moderator Henrik Tala from Song Asia. And Bhumi, artist and songwriter. Kyösti Salokorpi, songwriter and vice chair, Finnish music creators. And Tommi Tuomainen, founder and CEO of Elements Music. Stage is yours, Henrik.
Thank you very much. Thank you for my fantastic guests joining the panel. My name is Henrik. I run a company called Song Asia, and we focus on curating and facilitating songwriting camps. The title of the panel is It Means Everything and Nothing at the Same Time. And that was done intentionally because I wanted to live and breathe this amazing songwriting camp we've had for the past 2 days here in Turku, focusing on collaborating between Finnish and Indian cultures, working towards the pop and the audiovisual sector as well. Could I please have you introduce yourselves briefly before I get into the questions, maybe starting with Kyösti.
Hey, my name is Kyösti Salokorpi. I'm a kind of a long-time Finnish songwriter. I've been writing songs for different artists for 2 decades now, and I also, for the last few years, I've been part of the songwriters organization in Finland. I'm the vice chair of the Finnish music creators, so I kind of represent the pop songwriters in the organization.
Hi, I'm Bhumi, and I'm an artist, songwriter, and producer from India, and I primarily make Tamil and English music. And yeah, that's about it. I've been making music kind of all my life because I've been learning music since I was really young. So yeah, that's about it.
Yes, Tommi, I'm a music publisher, which means we represent songwriters, both business-wise and creatively, try to create opportunities for the songwriters to make a living out of music and have some fun. Had the company, we started it 20 years ago, started off doing international pretty much from the beginning, working as sort of from the needs and the personalities of the songwriters. We realized that some of the people were perhaps better matched to work in other territories than locally, and also looking for the opportunities for the writers to reach their potential. So we went off right from the start, opening new markets for us and our writers, traveling to Japan, South Korea, America, Central Europe, and still on that journey. Never been to India, really looking forward to doing that next.
Yeah, maybe you'll go to India after this panel and, sometime in the future.
Yeah, like straight away. Hopefully.
But so, Bhumi, I want to start with you. It's your first time in Finland, correct? So you've spent a good 48 hours, day and night, now with songwriters with different cultural backgrounds, as well as songwriters with similar backgrounds from India, but also maybe, I guess, different because you're from different regions in the country. Maybe just tell the audience, how was the experience? What were you expecting when you came here? What did you learn? And then, and then how does that compare to your daily grind as an artist and a songwriter when you're back at home in India?
I think it's been, first of all, it's been like a great experience so far working with everybody. Everyone has been so friendly and so kind, and that's great. I love the vibes. But I think I wasn't expecting anything, because usually when I go in expecting something, and if I don't get what I'm expecting, I'm not the happiest, But then when you go in blind, anything can happen, and it's the most beautiful experience, and you'll actually learn from it, you'll actually grow from it. And I think that's what happened here, and I think that's the case. I might be speaking for everybody, when I think that's the case. But I was actually super nervous. I was like, okay, so these people don't know Tamil. What are we gonna do? So I like came a little tiny little bit prepared because I didn't want us to just like kind of stare at each other in the room, you know. So I came a bit prepared, and I think it was so beautiful because like everyone was so reciprocative, and we kind of found that perfect balance between like a pure pop record and an Indian pop record. And like we found that sweet spot, and we were living in that sweet spot, and it was such a nice little spot to be in. But as like, you know, compared to like differences, I think usually back in India, every single day I'm working, which is like not unlike this camp, but usually my day is divided into like a lot of like outside other work that goes into being an artist, like physical fitness, dance, a lot of discipline in many different ways. And it was really nice to just be like, okay, screw all of that, let's just focus on the music. Like that's beautiful because I am in it for the music. I want it, like I'm only doing that because I have to do it, but I'm doing the music because I want to do it. So I think that was so nice to be in a room full of people that want to do music and are in it for the music and are just passionate about it, and we just got to speak the same language, and that was really, really cool.
Amazing. That's very nice to hear. And going back to when you're back at home and working towards your artist project or some film music, is the process the same? Do you get paired with total strangers, or do you mainly work with the same people? Do you collaborate, or do you write all your songs by yourself? Maybe tell us a little bit about that process.
So back at home, I have a set of collaborators that I feel get my vision, you know, like just get it. It's like that feeling, and when you find people that get the feeling and feel the feeling, it's like you can't go wrong working with them. And I think that's what it's like back at home in India. I have my constant collaborators, one of them being my mom, actually, because she helps me write my lyrics. And like when I make a mistake, she's like, yo, are you stupid? Like, what are you writing? So that's great to like work with my mom and be humbled. But like I work with her, and I work with this brilliant like mix engineer, mastering engineer, and producer named Pixel, and we have an EP out together. You guys should stream it. But yeah, but like we work together, and it's just really nice actually like finding people, you know, through this experience that also understand the vision. And when I'm like lecturing them about the vision, they're like, yeah. And they're not like, oh my God, can you shut up? That's amazing. That's really cool.
I think that's a lot down to your communication skills also, you know, explaining to them. What I understood was, you know, they were kind of following the leader, and you were the leader in those sessions because you were the brief as well. So it's amazing that you were able to communicate that to the other writers in the room. Kyösti. So let's look at it from the other side. You've been making music for a good amount of time. How do you feel after this deep dive / crash course into the Indian music market? What have you learned? What's interesting? You know, talk us through your thoughts.
Well, first of all, it's been a really, truly a great experience. I started listening to Indian music a few years ago, just for no reason, basically because there are just like so many great songs, like O Antawa that Rafael mentioned, like O Antawa Mawa, O Antawa Mawa. It's such a banger. Yeah, like one of my favorite songs from this decade easily. But yeah, like yeah, but I really didn't also kind of. I mean, the Nordic writers are really kind of used to doing co-writes every week with different artists and songwriters and producers. But I think that's more kind of a newish thing in India, maybe. So, but I really didn't know what to expect when I came here. But Bhumi and the guys Rohan, Charan, and Karan were really easygoing and easy to work with and very friendly, and it was just kind of maybe it took kind of 5 minutes in the room to just click and kind of start doing music. And it was because first of all, like vocalists like Bhumi, who have like been training in like classical, it's like Carnatic, kind of it's like a such a different approach to kind of writing the melody lines. There's so much for us to learn also as Nordic songwriters and all the kind of song structures that have maybe are more have to do more with storytelling in the because it's so connected to the films stories, so you can have like a totally kind of like different kinds of song structures, and also the way you approach the kind of moods are I think more connected to it's like a sad romance or a kind of a the genres are kind of maybe we think about we're going to do like a trap song or a house song or something like that. Maybe you can maybe think more about the mood and the kind of the emotion in the storytelling. So it's really like I'd really like to do more of this and kind of learn more from the Indian music industry.
So would you say this was a positive experience for you, and would you in the future consider a trip to traveling to India to work more towards?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, great. Then we have our publisher representative here on the panel, Tommi. Tommi, you've been running your own publishing company for 20 plus years. Congratulations. I think you mentioned when you introduced yourself that from the very beginning, as a publisher 20 years ago, when you started the company, you took an international focus for the company, and that was a conscious decision that you and your company co-workers made. But if we talk about the sort of the songwriting ecosystem in Finland, what has happened in the songwriting community in the last 20 years that we are now able to sit at a panel like this and have Finnish songwriters collaborate with artists and songwriters from India? What are, looking back, are there some key steps? Because you also were the chair of the board of the Music Publishers Association for 14 years. So you have a lot of industry insight and knowledge. How did we sort of evolve as a songwriting and music publisher community in the last 20 years that we're now able to send our writers to various markets?
Ooh, I can barely remember yesterday, so you're asking me to look back 20 years in what's happened. No, but of course I remember some things, one of which was the creation or the development of what Music Finland is today. An organization for a small country, there's a limited amount of companies operating internationally, a limited amount of maybe talent who are focusing on the international market. So an organization like Music Finland bringing these companies and people together has enabled us to reach out to many of the most important and most interesting international markets. So working both songwriters and companies working together to reach common goals like exporting Finnish music talent has been one important step. For many of the writers who work professionally and try to reach international markets, they have learned. Okay, let's take it even further back to the times before I became an entrepreneur and setting up my company. I would say that Finland was not a co-writing market. It was very uncommon for groups of people just getting together for a day and writing for an artist who's not in the room. It was basically professional songwriters who wrote the music on paper, be it lyrics or the music, or then a few people, the bands practicing together, writing their songs, but we didn't have the songwriting culture. So in my previous job at BMG, multinational music publisher, we sort of started importing the Swedish way of working, like the songwriting teams and the sessions and the camps. but at that time, I don't think Finland was ready, and we didn't have the support from other publishers maybe to do that. But slowly, the world evolved a little bit, and along came Music Finland, who had crazy people who said, you know, let's bring in people from Sweden and Japan and US and whatever, and we were like, okay, let's do it. And the writers sort of got used to that, and it's become a part of what we do daily, be it for international artists or projects or locally with Finnish pop artists. So that's definitely changed. So there's way more people who just can jump in the room, have done it before, and you know, they know a little bit what to expect from that day. But then a new market comes in with India. Everyone's sort of starting anew, and it's fresh, and it's really cool to do this. I mean, I'm really excited. I'm here to learn.
Cool, thank you. And I would maybe like to ask Kyösti, you know, if let's talk about, you know, the sort of I guess the most interesting and competitive market in Asia now, which is Korea. You have professional songwriters in Finland who are actively, and all the actually, you know, Sweden is very successful in Korea, Norway is very successful in Korea. We're in third place probably, but you know, I feel like every year we're becoming more successful in Korea. But when you write towards Korea, there's a very certain genre. Of course, there's lots of artists within that country, but there's that K-pop sound. And even in, you know, maybe in the last 2 years, it's come a little closer to our music here in Europe and the US, and the songs are not structurally so complicated, and there's not a rap section right before the second chorus. You know, all these rules you had to sort of know when working towards Korea. How would you say that writing for artists in India, is it just the feeling and the flow and the vibe, or is there something you have to keep in mind, like, okay, now I'm going to put on my hat for the Indian market, or just based on what you've learned in the last 2 days, is it like, would you say it's more similar to writing for an artist in Finland or writing for an artist in Korea?
Wow, that's a tricky one. I'll start with the Korean part first. It's been a while since there are actually writers in this room that are more actively writing K-pop at the moment than I am. But it's I think they also we started kind of doing K-pop maybe around 2010 or something, like kind of when in the Sandcastle camps, like by Music Finland or Music Export. I think the Koreans also came to like approach Scandinavian songwriters because they also wanted to have kind of our sound and our sensibility in the music, and that I think that's still the case, that we don't like fully adapt. We also kind of keep our style and our kind of melodic language in the production ideas, and that's what we kind of are expected to do, and then we kind of adapt. But it's also like when I'm working with different Finnish artists, it's not like not like it's the same form always. I always have to adapt to the artist's kind of mindset and try to think of the next step in that artist's career in a way, kind of do a bit of A&R work, you could say maybe, and it's always. It's a bit like kind of doing design work. It's you have to kind of adapt to the kind of think of the end product, and when it comes to India, it's like we as Finnish and Nordic songwriters, we really don't have no idea about how the song structure should be, how long the song should be, how the like which parts should come like after which, and it's like we just have to, you know, talk. We just have to ask around, like ask our Indian colleagues and kind of learn. You know, there's no easy answer to that, but it's I think it's always kind of you always have to kind of communicate.
Yeah, absolutely. And the main point I was trying to maybe get an answer to is because Korea is a very pitch-friendly market. You can write a song for the Korean market. You know, in Korea, the artist is in many cases not involved in the creation process at all in the song. But in Finland, your chances are infinitely better if the artist is in the room with you. So would you say, just a short answer, that if you were to continue working for the Indian market, do you strongly feel that it's very important that the artist is a part of the creation process?
Well, to be honest, we haven't pitched any of the songs yet, and my publisher Tommi is here with me, so yeah, I can maybe answer in a month or so. I don't know how the pitching process goes. Well, that's something we'll have to see. I think like Bhumi might have better answers to this question than I do. I really don't know yet because we have a bunch of songs that I think are really good, but I don't know how they'll land, and
Yeah. So if you pass the mic to Bhumi. So I'll ask I guess, is it possible for an international songwriter to have success in India, in your opinion, if they're not working with the artist directly, or the film director, if it's for, is there a pitch market for songs in India, or is it important to have the artist in the room?
I think this is so similar to the answers that we've heard before, but India is so big, anything's gonna work. There's different types of artists. There's artists like me who insist on being in the room. There's artists that also don't necessarily need to feel the need to be in the room, because their magic comes when they're behind the booth for recording final vocals. That's when their input really takes the song to the next level. And there's so many different types of artists. There's so many different types of pitches as well. You can pitch for OTT platforms, you can pitch for movies, you can pitch for so many different things, independent non-film music or whatever. There's so many different ways and little nooks and crannies that you can get your music out. And I think the only thing that the Indian audience really, really, really wants to hear is representation of their emotion, because India is a very emotional country, and we're very proud that we're very emotional, and we love being emotional, and I think it's a beautiful thing to be emotional, and I think we just want to hear that, we want to live that, we want to feel that, because we're such a film oriented country that we want to be the main character, we want to listen to the song and we're yeah, I'm that girl. I was gonna say something else, but you know what I mean? That's what we want. We just want to feel seen, and I think if you just get that right, then you got the brief right.
Okay, thank you. Fantastic answer. Tommi, so you're a publisher, and
Still am. Yeah.
you still am, yeah.
Yeah.
At least, yeah, today. And you just mentioned, I think it became clear that you are Kyösti's publisher here.
Yeah.
Yes. So, it's a hypothetical, but you can maybe answer the question through past success stories for different markets. If Elements Music makes the decision next week that, hey, India is going to be a target market for us, and we're going to spend the next few years building our roster, to have success in India. What are the most important things as a publisher that you need to learn and understand about the market before you would even try and convince your songwriters to enter that market? Maybe you speak about, when you went to Korea or Japan, what were some of the things that from a business perspective that you wanted to know and have a full understanding of before trying to enter that market?
Yeah, perhaps I should use Japan as an example, which is kind of particular, also creatively, and what the music market looks like, what the audience loves. It's particular, but also the business rules and how music publishing and the rights flow. It's quite different from us. So when we went there the first time, maybe pretty much 20 years ago, we didn't know much. So we had to try to find the people who we could communicate with, learn from, who could educate us, be it how the music works. Is this a great song for a Japanese artist? Why is it? Why isn't it? So we had a sub-publisher who did that for us. And one great comment that when with a Japanese person, typically it takes quite a long time to build trust, and when you do, it's like a fin, slowly warming up. And when you do have trust, then you have it, but it takes time. So after a couple of years going back and forth, trying to let us know, explain more, our sub-publisher in Japan said, you know, about all these provisions and the rules, and you need to give publishing to the management and all that. You know, don't worry, we'll take care of you. And I was like, okay. And that's like a sigh of relief. Yeah, we have a partner, we can trust them. We don't have to try to, you know, enforce our way of thinking about copyright and how the business works and all of that. And that's why having people like Rafael, who's a lawyer who understands how the IP works and what the business is expecting if we want to have success, that's really important. And us having Sony Music Publishing has an office in India. There's a team who can always support us, and we would need to rely on them to help our writers and us getting those songs across, saying yes to the sometimes very strange, you know, rules that we're expected to live by, giving away 100% of publishing. Maybe, you know, we'll figure it out. But as long as there's, you know, there's something interesting for our writers, we have the infrastructure that can support us. We know the people who we need to reach out to. It could work, and we will need to learn about the music and how it works and what the artists expect and how they work. And, you know, can I keep on going? I still have one,
please,
sort of reference. Yeah, with the Japan example, we had some writers who were doing a lot of K-pop. Didn't kind of work. There was something a little off about those songs. They tried to do J-pop as well, but didn't really educate themselves enough in order to understand the song structure and all of that. But then the K-pop wave hit Japan, but it sort of adapted into a Japanese version of K-pop. So they made the Japanese version of the K-pop songs, which were different. And suddenly some of these guys, girls, fitted in to this Japanese version of K-pop. And we had learned sort of the differences and were able to pitch some songs. And through that, we actually got our first #1 when we were listening to songs in Japan and sort of, so why does this feel off and why would this work and so forth. And then on the plane, I'm taking the credit here. It's probably due to someone else, but I'm still taking the credit. So on the plane, I was like, oh my gosh, we have the perfect song for this. It never worked in Korea, but it could work for a Korean artist in Japan. And that was Electric Boy that Kara performed, which was amazing. Sort of, finally I learned something about this market. But it took a long time, and we needed support, and we're definitely going to need good friends in India in order for us to be successful there as well.
Yeah, so local trusted partners is a big key point.
Yeah, also spending time there or with them is very important for, you know, taking enough time to learn about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Bhumi, maybe I can just shortly ask you, I'll ask you another question right after, but based on what Tommi just said, I mean, it's been only 2 days. It's been like a crash course for the Finnish writers into the Indian music market, the musical styles. What's your personal opinion on, you know, the Finnish writers who joined? I wish I could ask all of our international guests who are at the camp, but you know, you're here representing your country now at this panel. Do you think in just 2 days were the Finnish writers able to quickly grasp onto what you were looking for musically in general, or were there some tension points that, you know, were dealt with in the sessions that, you know, how do you feel that in just 2 days and 2 sessions, our writers were able to adapt to your musical culture?
I think so, like in a really like fluid way. I think because it's music at the end of the day, and it's emotion at the end of the day. And if you just like get that right, and if you just understand that, then you got everything. Because like we're all the same, we're all humans, we all feel the same things, we all experience very similar things. There's barely any original experiences anymore. And I think like when you find that commonality and when you find that like humanity in the music, that's when you really get it. Because I think like in my room with Emilia and with like Frida and with Jonas, like we were just talking like in the language of the song, not exactly like necessarily Tamil, not English, but just like the way that the music, the things that the music needed. And when you all have the same common goal of like, okay, screw everything, all that matters is that this piece of music sounds good. Like it doesn't matter, you know, what you're doing. It doesn't matter the label of whether this fits into a pop record, it's a rock record, it's a drum and bass record, it's an R&B record. Like, none of it matters. It's just, is the song good? Like, is the song making me feel? Is the song something that I would be like proud to say, like, oh my god, I made this in Finland, and I blah blah blah, like the story behind the song. There's so many songs that are made, but is this song, like, does it represent who you are right now, who all of us were in that very moment of creating that chord progression? We might not be able to lyrically put it all into the song, but through, like, you know, one person's opinion of this chord, no, this changes, this color, that's them. Like, that's you, that's your personality, and that's your flavor, and that's what brings like such magic and changes like a record. That's the point of working with people, because if I made that song on my own, I would not like it as much. And I want to work with more people because I want like opinion, and I want, like, even if it's like just a stray person walking past like saying, "Ooh, that sounded funny." Like, I want that, you know what I mean? It's just like it all adds, and it's all such magic. It's like where musicians are such magical people, and it's really cool that you get to be musicians and you get to talk music and you get to understand music even past the lyrics, like just through the production, through the like harmonies, through the everything.
Yeah, what a refreshing answer. I think because in some markets there's some very strict boxes, and you need to check some boxes. You know, at least in the past, things are obviously changing every day. But you brought up language, yours being Tamil, if I'm correct. But you listen to music in other languages in India as well. And one thing that I learned is, you don't really care what language the song is. You can enjoy it just as much, even if it's not in your own. Is that correct?
Yeah, like honestly, when I listen to a Tamil song, I'm listening to the production. I'm only like, oh, that's what they were saying much later. Like, and I think that's what's really cool. It is that India is like, there's so much. There's so much history. It's like there's so much story. There's so much to learn from. And all I want to do is like, through this like blessing that I get to make music, through this blessing that I get to live at a time where there's technology, where there's like a computer where I can produce, I can layer my vocals, and I can like redefine what traditionalism means and what culture means. And like, that is such a cool thing to do. Like, I get to lead the way, or like, screw that, I get to even do it. Like, I get to be a person who can do this in Tamil and in English, and I get the chance to make Tamil global, and I get the shot at being a girl doing that. Like, that is insane to me.
So a song from Chennai, which is in the southern part of India, can be very successful in like the northern parts where Punjabi is the language.
Yeah.
So the language doesn't really matter, because what's interesting,
No.
I guess, from our perspective is, if you look at the Spotify top 50 in Finland, you know, unless Ed Sheeran or Taylor Swift has released an album, or if it's Christmas, all the other weeks, you know, throughout the year, I would say between 45 and 48 out of the 50 songs are in Finnish. And we're sort of language locked into this concept that if you want to be a Finnish artist and have success in Finland, you know, we've had many artists in Finland who started in English, and you know, a lot of them have gone through that conversation with their A&R at the label. Hey, you know, think about it. Like, would you be willing to switch into Finnish? And then you've seen their careers take off. But in India, this is clearly not the case, and you can choose your language, and people accept that. Is that correct?
Honestly, it wasn't the case like a few years ago. Like, a few years ago, even I felt the pressure to maybe make music in a particular language, you know, because that was the only language. And it actually wasn't because there was pressure. It's because there was nobody in other languages putting out music at a scale where I would be able to reach it. And then over time, that obviously changed, because look at the charts now. Like, it's beautiful. Like, there's Malayalam, there's Haryanvi, there's Gujarati, there's like Punjabi, there's Hindi, it's so much. There's Telugu, I see artists like popping up every single day on my Instagram feed, and I have like tune my algorithm to put me onto new artists. Okay, so because I need to know what's happening, and I want to know what's happening because I want to meet these magical people, and if like if it fits, I want to make music with these magical people because they're magic, and we should make magic together. And like it doesn't even matter what like language you're saying; it just matters your intention and like what you bring to the table, and that's so cool.
So now I finally get to the question I was originally, we took a little side detour there. But, you know, Tommi was saying like when they started working in Japan, it took a lot of time and, you know, they had a trusted sub-publisher there, a local company that was helping them out. And, you know, that was a key factor in being able to even enter the market. If, you know, Kyösti here, you know, there's major labels in India, not in the same way that we have them here. Their, you know, their market share dominance is not the same as in, you know, other parts of the world. But India is also known for a lot of independent artists, so artists that are not signed to a label. For example, there's a platform called Madverse, which represents over 250,000 artists, if I'm not mistaken. If Kyösti, you know, and Tommi decide that, hey, Kyösti's next career move is gonna be India, and he's gonna put all his time and energy for the next 3 years. If you don't have those labels, if there's so many independent artists, how does Kyösti find the right artists that he should be working with? In your opinion, you just mentioned Instagram, social media. Does he need to get on the socials now and just start like tuning his algorithm to figure out who to work with? Or, you know, what's the strategy for Kyösti coming to India and finding the right projects? Does he call you and you introduce him to your friends?
Yeah, sure. You can borrow my phone for a bit. Yeah, I think so. Like, the reason Instagram is so important, I mean, obviously there's no TikTok. If there was TikTok, I would be saying TikTok. But like the reason Instagram is so important is because that's like the one place where you remove a middleman. You just freaking post. Like, you can do anything. You can be in your PJs and you can be like lip syncing to your song that you made yesterday and you post. And that's how you find artists. Like, it's insane. I've seen like some random dude from Haryana and like there's Don Tolliver in his comments. And I'm like, yeah, that's what it's about. Yeah, like that's what it's about. It doesn't matter anymore who you are. Like, of course it matters who you are, but it doesn't matter like any background or anything. Instagram is the one place you're kind of at a level playing field. Of course there's different levels to that because like there's labels and there's people who do influencer marketing and obviously things like that, but at least this gives you like a shot, you know. And as an independent artist, a shot is so important because that can be your golden ticket to be like the biggest artist in the world.
Amazing, thank you. Okay, so we have 3 minutes left, so I'm going to ask a 1-minute answer from each of you, so we end on time. So if everybody here wants to turn sort of these sessions into future collaboration and success in the Indian market for Finnish songwriters and companies, what do you think are the most important next steps? And we start with Kyösti.
Yeah, I think I would think it's kind of the same thing in any market. You just kind of you have a certain amount of context here. I know there's 4 people from the Indian music business, and then there's the local publisher. I just kind of go there and try to work my way up into the best possible session rooms I can be in. It's like, I don't know, it's just like you do your job and you try to do it well and hope that the word goes out and you get like approached by people. But it's like, yeah, but also I think I'm sure like Nordic songwriters and Indian songwriters can do amazing stuff together if we just get time. Obviously the copyright thing is a bit different from like if we're not talking about the creative side, but the kind of the business side, the way copyright is the publishing rights are handled in India is a bit different. So we'd have to kind of probably my publisher wants to kind of work out how we get the kind of money part going. But other than that, it's just meeting people and making good music.
So would the rule that 80% of it is showing up apply strongly here?
I don't know the percentages. You go there and you create like magical music with people. And what Bhumi just said about the kind of blessing of being able to write songs, I'd like to kind of, it was so beautiful. 100% agree on that. I want to kind of print it out and frame it on the studio wall.
Okay, Bhumi, your answer, 1 minute. The next steps for creating success between our two countries.
Make music. That's it. Just like make music, reach out to people, make music, just reach out to people more, make music more. I think that's about it, because good music is going to travel and good music is going to land, and whether it's now, whether it's 10 years from now, that's like God's timing. But what you can do is you can act and just act.
Fantastic, thank you. And Tommi?
What was the question again?
So
About next steps.
Next steps to create success between Finland and India.
One thing that is oftentimes forgotten to mention is that if we can create opportunity here for someone from India, it will usually end up in us getting help for our writers having something happen in India as well. So it's sort of an exchange of both talent and opportunity, and Finland could be a platform towards the European market. The Finnish business can help out an Indian artist to get some traction in Europe, or Northern Europe or Scandinavia at least. So that's maybe one thing. The second is decision to do and dedicate. So showing up definitely is 80%. Being there, just raising your hand saying this is something I want to do is very important for us to get the realization that this guy is actually serious about it. So then we can give the support. I will reach out to the Sony offices saying that, hey, here we are. Listen to these couple of tracks from Kyösti. He's nuts enough to, leave behind his fantastic career as a songwriter in the Nordics, and he wants to take over India. So can you help? Because he's going to come over. So that sort of, making a decision. This is important for us. Is like step one, I'd say.
Thank you. And then because we have 1.5 minutes, Bhumi, I just want to end on this final question. Spin off from what Tommi just said, that maybe here we can help artists, in the European markets. As an artist yourself with over 7 million monthly listeners on Spotify, 100+ million streams on just one song, how do you feel about maybe one day releasing a song together with a European artist? Would you see that as a positive move for your career or not?
100%. The point is to go global. So like the point is to make more music with so many people, because I don't think there's anything that is stopping us. Like there's the audience will love something that's good and something that's honest and something that's true. And if me working with any artist in the world is honest and true and meant to happen, and like a meaningful collaboration, not just a collaboration for the sake of collaboration, but a meaningful collaboration that makes sense to both of us, and we bring to each other's worlds what we bring to our own worlds, then
And now with the recent success of Humak, for example, I think he's opened a door that maybe was not open just a few years ago for all the artists in India.
And he did it so beautifully.
Yeah.
Like he did it in a way that represented where he's from. Have you seen that video? It's insane.
Yeah.
Like that's how you're supposed to do it. See, people love a story, people love culture, people love representation. So just do it the way that you feel like you have to do it, because God will bless you.
We're all very excited to see you do it next. So.
Thank you. Me too, dude.
All right,
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to all our fantastic panelists. Let's give them a big round of applause.